All India Radio presents Morning News. Good morning. I'm Sunil Verma, and with me is Subhadra Ramachandran. The headlines. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to address the nation at 9 a.m. today. Prime Minister to visit Mahoba and Jhansi in Uttar Pradesh today to launch multiple development projects worth over 6,250 crore rupees. Prime Minister to also launch various initiatives of defence sector at Rashtra Raksha Samarpan Parv being held in Jhansi as part of Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. Civil Aviation Minister Jyotiraditya Scindia says India has become third largest domestic aviation market in the world. India International Trade Fair to open for general public from today at Pragati Maidan in New Delhi. Guru Nanak Jayanti being celebrated with religious fervour in India and abroad. US President Joe Biden says his government is considering diplomatic boycott of 2022 Beijing Winter Olympics in China. And in cricket, India to take on New Zealand in second T20 International in Ranchi this evening. As India created history by administering over 100 crore vaccine doses against COVID-19, All India Radio salutes all the doctors, nurses, other frontline workers and all those who got vaccinated and made this possible. Even though the country has achieved this feat, we caution our listeners that the battle against COVID is not yet over. We appeal to our listeners to get fully vaccinated at the earliest and also help others get vaccinated. During the festival season, please follow these 3 simple steps. Wear a face mask, maintain 2 gaz ki duri for social distancing, and focus on hand and face hygiene. For any COVID-related information and guidance, contact national helpline numbers 011-2397-8046 and 1075. And now the news in detail. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will address the nation at 9 a.m. today. In a tweet, Prime Minister's office informed about it. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will visit Mahoba in Jhansi district of Uttar Pradesh today. Mr. Modi will inaugurate multiple projects in Mahoba in the afternoon. These projects will help alleviate the issue of water shortage in the region and bring much needed relief to the farmers. These projects include Arjun Sahayak Project, Ratolik Veer Project, Bhavni Dam Project and Mazagaon Chili Sprinkler Project. The cumulative cost of these projects is more than 3,250 crore rupees and their operationalization will help in irrigation of around 65,000 hectares of land in Mahoba, Hamirpur, Banda and Lalitpur districts. These projects will also provide potable drinking water to the region. The Prime Minister will also address a rally in Mahoba. In the evening, Mr. Modi will participate in a program during which he will lay the foundation stone of 600 megawatt ultra-mega solar power park at Garutha in Jhansi. It is being constructed at a cost of over 3,000 crore rupees and will provide the dual benefits of cheaper electricity and grid stability. Mr. Modi will also inaugurate Atal Ekta Park in Jhansi. Named after former Prime Minister Atal Bihari Vajpayee, the park has been built at a cost of over 11 crore rupees and is spread across an area of about 40,000 square meters. It will also house a library as well as a statue of Vajpayee. The statue has been built by the renowned sculptor Shri Ram Sutar, the man behind the Statue of Unity. The Prime Minister will also launch multiple initiatives for the defence sector at Rashtra Raksha Samarpan Parv, which is being held in Jhansi from the 17th to the 19th of this month as part of Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. We have more from our correspondent.
To give a thrust to Atmanirbhar Bharat in the defence sector, Mr. Modi will formally hand over indigenously designed and developed equipments to the Armed Forces Service Chiefs. These include handing over of Hindustan Aeronautics Limited designed and developed light combat helicopter to the Chief of the Air Staff. Drones, UAVs designed and developed by Indian startups to Chief of Army Staff and DRDO designed and Bharat Electronics Limited manufactured advanced electronic warfare suit for naval ships to the Chief of Naval Staff. The LCH incorporates advanced technologies and stealth features for effective combat roles. The deployment of Indian UAVs by Indian Armed Forces is also a proof of the growing maturity of Indian drone industry ecosystem. This is Gaurav for AIR News, Jhansi.
The Prime Minister will also lay the foundation stone of 400 crore rupees project at Jhansi node of UP Defence Industrial Corridor. The project is being executed by Bharat Dynamics Limited for setting up a plant to produce propulsion systems for anti-tank guided missiles. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has stressed on the vision to create an ecosystem for innovation which will make India a leader in drug discovery and innovative medical devices. He emphasized on ramping up domestic manufacturing of key ingredients for vaccine and medicines, saying that this is one frontier that India has to conquer. The Prime Minister today inaugurated the first Global Innovation Summit of the pharmaceutical sector through video conferencing. Mr. Modi said, high quality and quantity at affordable prices has generated immense interest in the Indian pharma sector around the world.
Our definition of wellness is not limited by physical boundaries. We believe in the well-being of the entire humankind. Sarve api sukhina santu, sarve santu niramaya. And we have shown this spirit to the whole world during the COVID-19 global pandemic. We exported life-saving medicines and medical equipment to over 150 countries during the initial phase of the pandemic. We have also exported more than 65 million doses of COVID vaccines to nearly 100 countries this year. The global trust earned by the Indian healthcare sector had led to India being called the pharmacy of the world.
Highlighting the role of Indian pharma sector during the COVID-19 pandemic, Mr. Modi said, the Indian pharmaceutical industry has also risen to the challenge. He said, the global trust earned by the Indian healthcare sector has led to India being called the pharmacy of the world. The Prime Minister said, India has a large pool of scientists and technologists with the potential to take the pharma industry to greater heights. He invited the stakeholders to ideate in India, innovate in India, make in India, and make for the world.
Civil Aviation Minister Jyotiraditya Scindia said that India has become the third largest domestic aviation market in the world. He said civil aviation is emerging as one of the major pillars providing fillip to economic growth. Mr. Scindia yesterday inaugurated a curtain raiser event on Wings India 2022, which is Asia's largest event on civil aviation, commercial, general and business aviation. Speaking on the occasion, the minister said the Indian civil aviation industry has witnessed robust growth over the years and contributed significantly to the economic development of the country. He said India's civil aviation industry is the pride of the nation as it is playing a key role in connecting Indians to the remotest corners of the country and to the world. The minister said one cannot undermine the fact that the support of aviation industries combating the impact of COVID-19 pandemic was extraordinary.
India International Trade Fair, IITF, which is underway at Pragati Maidan in New Delhi, will be opened for the general public from today. It will continue till the 27th of this month. The first 5 days of the trade fair were exclusively reserved for business. Bihar is the partner state, whereas Uttar Pradesh and Jharkhand are the focus states. Over 1,500 exhibitors from India and overseas are participating with the display of a large range of products and services. The timings of the fair are from 9:30 a.m. to 7:30 p.m. The tickets can be purchased from customer care centres of 65 metro stations. For Divyang and senior citizens, the entry will be free.
Guru Nanak Jayanti, or Gurpurab, is being celebrated with religious fervour across India and the world today. It marks the birth of the first Sikh Guru, Guru Nanak Dev Ji, who laid the foundation of Sikhism. This year marks the 552nd birth anniversary of Guru Nanak Dev Ji. On this day, devotees around the world offer prayers. The Golden Temple in Amritsar celebrates Gurpurab with much aplomb. In his Mann Ki Baat program, Prime Minister Narendra Modi had said that he is deeply inspired by the noble ideals of Guru Nanak Dev. Prime Minister Modi said the world over, the influence of Guru Nanak Dev Ji is distinctly visible.
गुरु नानक देव जी सिर्फ सिख पंथ की भारत की ही धरोहर नहीं बल्कि पूरी मानवता के लिए प्रेरणा पुंज है। गुरु नानक देव एक गुरु होने के साथ साथ एक विचार है, जीवन का आधार है। हमारे संस्कार, हमारी संस्कृति, हमारे मूल्य, हमारी परवरिश, हमारी सोच, हमारे विचार, हमारे तर्क, हमारी वाणी, ये सब गुरु नानक देव जी जैसी पुण्य आत्माओं द्वारा ही गढ़ी गई है।
President Ramnath Kovind, Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu and Prime Minister Modi have greeted people on the occasion of the birth anniversary of Guru Nanak Dev Ji. You are listening to the morning news on All India Radio. A reminder of the headlines before we move on. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to address the nation at 9 this morning. Prime Minister to visit Mahoba and Jhansi in Uttar Pradesh today to launch multiple development projects worth over 6,250 crore rupees. Prime Minister to also launch various initiatives of defence sector at Rashtra Raksha Samarpan Parv being held in Jhansi as part of Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. Civil Aviation Minister Jyotiraditya Scindia says India has become third large domestic aviation market in the world. India International Trade Fair to open for general public from today to Pragati Maidan in New Delhi. Guru Nanak Jayanti being celebrated with religious fervour in India and abroad. US President Joe Biden says his government is considering diplomatic boycott of 2022 Beijing Winter Olympics in China. And in cricket, India to take on New Zealand in second T20 International in Ranchi this evening. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle at AIR News Alerts.
स्वाधीनता आंदोलन के दौरान भारतीय जनमानस को उद्वेलित कर स्वतंत्रता का अलख जगाने और मातृभूमि के प्रति सेवा, समर्पण और त्याग की ज्वाला प्रज्वलित कर देने वाले अमर गीतों पर आधारित विशेष कार्यक्रम आजादी के तराने सुनना न भूलें। FM गोल्ड 100.1 मेगाहर्ट्ज पर प्रत्येक शुक्रवार शाम 4:45 पर परिक्रमा कार्यक्रम के अंतर्गत आजादी के तराने सिर्फ आकाशवाणी पर।
US President Joe Biden has said that his administration is considering a diplomatic boycott of the 2022 Winter Olympics in Beijing, China. Asked about the possibility of the boycott during an Oval Office meeting with Prime Minister Justin Trudeau of Canada, Biden responded that it is something we are considering. Under a diplomatic boycott, the US will not send an official government delegation to the Games, but will still allow US athletes to compete. Human rights advocates have been urging countries to hold China accountable for its record on human rights by skipping the Games, calling the Beijing Olympics the genocide Games. Chinese government officials have warned of a robust Chinese response to any potential boycotts. And now, let's listen to our special program, Azadi Ka Safar, highlighting the importance of the day during the freedom struggle.
आजादी का अमृत महोत्सव। Azadi Ka Safar with AIR News. Birth of a Nation. India's glorious freedom struggle is one of the greatest struggles the modern world has ever witnessed. AIR News brings you a glimpse of the struggle every day.
19th of November is the birth anniversary of the great freedom fighter Rani Lakshmibai. Born as Manikarnika Tambe on 19th of November 1828 in Kashi, she was fondly called Manu. Since her childhood, she started learning about using weapons. She became proficient in horse riding and fencing under the guidance of Nana Sahab and Tatya Tope. In 1842, Manu was married to the king of Jhansi, Gangadhar Rao. After the marriage, she got the name Lakshmibai.
In 1851, she gave birth to a boy who was named Damodar Rao. The child passed away when he was just 4 months old. 2 years later, Raja Gangadhar Rao and Rani Lakshmibai adopted a child named Anand Rao, the son of Raja Gangadhar Rao's cousin. He was renamed Damodar Rao on the day before the Raja of Jhansi died. Lord Dalhousie, the then British Governor-General of India, did not recognize Rani Lakshmibai's adopted son as the heir of Jhansi and enforced the doctrine of lapse to annex the kingdom.
She revolted against this and cried out, "मैं मेरी झांसी नहीं दूंगी." She took the reins of Jhansi into her own hands and protected the city. Rani Lakshmibai was one of the leading figures of the 1857 War of Independence. She decided to join the revolutionary forces and began training an army in the state of Gwalior.
The British troops attacked Gwalior in June 1858. Rani Lakshmibai led a counter-charge, clad in the attire of a man and mounted on horseback. She was struck by bullets and fell. In accordance with her last wish, she was placed on a pile of dry grass and cremated, unseen by the enemy and untouched by the shackles of slavery.
Her tomb is in the Phoolbagh area in Gwalior. Khoob ladi mardani, wo to Jhansi wali Rani thi. The epic line from the poem Jhansi Ki Rani, written by Subhadra Kumari Chauhan, sums up how she fought valiantly against the British Empire and left an indelible mark on Indian history.
November 19th is also the birth anniversary of the freedom fighter, the first female Prime Minister of India and the daughter of Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, Indira Priyadarshini Gandhi. She was born on November the 19th, 1917 in Prayagraj district of Uttar Pradesh. Indira Gandhi's childhood revolved round the freedom struggle as her whole family was actively involved in it.
She would frequently see her grandfather, Motilal Nehru, sent to jail. Similarly, her father was jailed for more than 15 years for his role in the freedom movement. Since her childhood, she actively involved herself in the freedom struggle. In 1930, she founded Vanar Sena of Children to help the Congress Party. She was imprisoned in September 1942.
Mrs. Gandhi worked in riot-affected areas of Delhi in 1947 under Gandhiji's guidance. Later, as the Prime Minister, she played an important role in the liberation of Bangladesh in 1971. Under her Prime Ministership, India carried out a peaceful nuclear test in Pokhran on May the 18th, 1974. She introduced numerous pro-poor programs. India's self-sufficiency in food owes to the Green Revolution that Indira Gandhi mentored. She was awarded the Bharat Ratna in 1972.
That brings us to the end of this episode of Azadi Ka Safar with AIR News. See you in the next episode tomorrow.
रंग दो नव भारत की उड़ान, आजादी की नई पहचान, देशभक्ति की रंगोली से देश सजा दो, देश सजा दो।
आजादी की 75वीं वर्षगांठ पर देश अमृत महोत्सव मना रहा है। इसमें रंगोली प्रतियोगिता हो रही है। क्या आप भी इसमें भाग लेना चाहते हैं? यदि हाँ, तो रजिस्ट्रेशन के लिए amritmahotsav.nic.in पर जाएं।
देश सजा दो, ऐसे रंग भरो भारत का, हर सपना रंगीन बना दो।
Marking the birth anniversary of Jhansi Ki Rani Lakshmibai, Films Division has lined up a special screening on its website and YouTube channel today. The 52-minute English biopic Maharani Lakshmibai depicts the true spirit of her nationalism and fearless courage. This film is a tribute to the Durga of the freedom struggle of 1857, dedicated to her impeccable valor and courage. Prime Minister Narendra Modi today bowed to the valorous Rani Lakshmibai on her Jayanti. In a tweet, Mr. Modi said, Rani Lakshmibai has a special place in the history of India. The Prime Minister said, her bravery will not be forgotten by generations. Mr. Modi said he is looking forward to being in Jhansi later today to attend programs relating to boosting India's defence sector. Prime Minister Narendra Modi today paid tributes to former Prime Minister Indira Gandhi on her birth anniversary.
This is All India Radio giving you the news. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle at AIR News Alerts. Best wishes to all consumers for Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. Hallmark ensures purity of gold. Always purchase hallmarked gold jewellery. For any consumer-related complaints, please contact National Consumer Helpline's toll-free number 14404. Issued in public interest by Department of Consumer Affairs, Government of India. Jago Grahak, Jago. Kartik Purnima is being celebrated in different parts of the country with religious fervour today. In Uttar Pradesh, ghats of holy rivers are brimming with pilgrims reaching there for the auspicious bathing on the occasion. Preparations are also in full swing for the celebration of Dev Deepavali at Varanasi and Chitrakoot. A report.
Devotees have thronged to the ghats to take holy dip in rivers like Ganga, Yamuna and Saryu. In the temple city Ayodhya, more than 10 lakh pilgrims are expected to reach and administration has made elaborate arrangements for them. Ghats on the banks of Ganga in Varanasi and Mandakini in Chitrakoot districts are being prepared for the spectacular Dev Deepavali Mahotsav. 84 ghats of holy river Ganga in Varanasi will be illuminated with the light of more than 15 lakh earthen lamps this evening. Sangam area of Prayagraj district would be illuminated with 5 lakh diyas on the occasion of Dev Deepavali. Sushil Chandra Tiwari, AIR News, Lucknow.
India Meteorological Department has said that the depression over southwest Bay of Bengal moved northwestwards and crossed North Tamil Nadu and adjoining South Andhra Pradesh coasts between Puducherry and Chennai early this morning. Puducherry recorded 19 centimeters of rainfall under its impact. A holiday has been declared in all schools in Puducherry today following the incessant rains.
Several parts of Gujarat have been receiving light rains since yesterday. Local weather offices predicted more unseasonal rains in the state during the next 2 days. Becharaji, Mehsana, Khadi and Unjha in Mehsana district, Khed Brahma in Sabarkantha and Dahegam in Gandhinagar district have received more than 10 mm rain yesterday morning. According to the weather office, the change in weather witnessed following the low pressure area over the East Central Arabian Sea off Goa, South Maharashtra coast to South Gujarat coast. Local weather office has also predicted unseasonal rains at isolated places in North and South Gujarat for the next 2 days. Ahmedabad city is witnessing cloudy skies since yesterday. After a thrilling win in Jaipur, India will take on New Zealand in the second T20 encounter in Ranchi today. The match will begin at 7 p.m. The pitch at JSCA International Stadium Complex has been good for batting. India have a 100% win record in T20Is hosted by Ranchi. The men in blue have a 1-0 lead in the 3-match T20I series heading into the second match. India registered a 5-wicket victory over New Zealand in their first T20 match in Jaipur on Wednesday. With this win, India gained a 1-0 lead in the 3-match series. The third T20 match will be played in Kolkata on Sunday. The T20 series will be followed by the 2-match Test series.
The UN Special Envoy on Afghanistan, Deborah Lyons, has raised concern over the expansion of the Islamic State ISIS across Afghanistan, which used to be only active in the capital Kabul. Lyon, during a UN Security Council meeting about UN assistance to Afghanistan, pointed out that the Islamic State group used to be only active in the capital Kabul and several provinces, but it now seems to be present in nearly all 34 provinces and is increasingly active, reported NHK World. She said 334 attacks have been attributed to ISIS in the first 10 months of this year, more than 5 times the figure for the whole of last year. She also warned that the Taliban's inability to stem the expansion of the Islamic State militant group is leading to a deterioration of security in the country. She further said that such attacks started rising sharply after US forces withdrew from Afghanistan in August. The Taliban's struggle to bring stability to Afghanistan has been dogged by a series of bloody assaults by ISIS. And now let us take a look at the weather forecast for today. Before the weather forecast, let's take one more story. Russia will evacuate more than 380 Russian and foreign citizens from Afghanistan. Earlier yesterday, the first Russian consignment of humanitarian aid arrived in Kabul. According to Taliban officials, 3 planes carrying 36 tons of humanitarian assistance landed in Kabul and the consignment was handed over to them, reported Khama Press. The Taliban officials expressed gratitude to the Russian government and called on other countries to continue providing the Afghan people with relief assistance. Russia intends to send to Afghanistan a total amount of 108 tons of humanitarian aid, from which the first tranche arrived and the other 2 will soon be dispatched to Afghanistan. And now, let's take a look at the weather forecast for today. The national capital Delhi is likely to have shallow fog. The maximum temperature will be nearly 27 degrees Celsius, while 11 degrees was recorded as the minimum. Mumbai will have a partly cloudy sky with the possibility of the development of thunder and lightning. Minimum temperature 25, maximum expected 35 degrees. Chennai is expected to witness a generally cloudy sky with moderate rain. The temperature will vary between 23 and 28 degrees Celsius. Kolkata will have a mainly clear sky. The city noted a minimum temperature of 20 degrees Celsius, while the maximum is likely to be around 29 degrees. Srinagar will have a mainly clear sky. The minimum temperature was 0 degrees Celsius, while the maximum will be 14 degrees. Jammu will also have a sunny day. The minimum temperature was 11 and the maximum expected 26 degrees. Leh may witness a partly cloudy sky. The maximum temperature will be just 6 degrees Celsius, while it recorded a lower temperature of -8 degrees. Gilgit and Muzaffarabad will have mainly clear sky. Thiruvananthapuram will have generally cloudy sky with a few spells of rain or thunder showers. Minimum temperature 23, maximum around 31 degrees. Guwahati is likely to have mainly clear sky with maximum temperature 29, minimum was 16 degrees. Imphal, after a foggy morning, is expected to have a clear sky. City noted a minimum temperature of 13, maximum will be nearly 26 degrees.
And now an overview of today's newspapers. India, China agree to hold meeting soon for complete disengagement, reports the Tribune. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh says India is fully prepared to give befitting reply, writes the Hindu. The statesman quotes him as saying, resigning law reflects indomitable courage of troops. Hindustan Times quotes Prime Minister Modi as saying that democracies must unite to ensure crypto doesn't fall in wrong hands. The Supreme Court quashes Bombay High Court's skin-to-skin order, says sexual intent is sexual assault in child's case, writes a Pioneer. Delhi air quality remains in very poor category, writes the Asian Age. The Times of India quotes a government study that states that winter morning walks could be injurious to health. Delhi CM gives 6-point plan to clean Yamuna by 2025, writes Hindustan Times. And finally, Hindustan Times reports that the Ministry of Home Affairs has declared Sadar Bazar police station as the best in the country for 2021.
And now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to address the nation at 9 this morning. Prime Minister to visit Mahoba and Jhansi in Uttar Pradesh today to launch multiple development projects worth over 6,250 crore rupees. Prime Minister to also launch various initiatives of defence sector at Rashtra Raksha Samarpan Parv being held in Jhansi as part of Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. Civil Aviation Minister Jyotiraditya Scindia says India has become third largest domestic aviation market in the world. India International Trade Fair to open for general public from today at Pragati Maidan in New Delhi. Guru Nanak Jayanti being celebrated with religious fervour in India and abroad. US President Joe Biden says his government is considering diplomatic boycott of 2022 Beijing Winter Olympics in China. And in cricket, India to take on New Zealand in second T20 International in Ranchi this evening. For details of these stories and more, log on to our website www.newsonair.gov.in and News on AIR app. With that, we end the morning news. Have a nice day.